I'm 36. I live in Boston. I work as an architect in a small studio specializing in the restoration of historic buildings. Life is calm. Relationships are non-existent. Not because I'm not looking, but because one day I lost everything. His name was David. We were together for 6 years. We met at a university exhibition. He was studying to be a historian, I was studying to be an architect. He loved old buildings just like me. He read Remarque in the original. He taught me to play the guitar. He made coffee so that I couldn't drink another. 5 years later he proposed. Not in a restaurant, not at sunrise. He just sat on the steps of our old house, holding the ring in his hands and said, "I don't want another life. I want what we already have. Only forever." I said yes. And then everything fell apart. Not because of betrayal, not because of lies, because of illness. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that made pregnancy extremely risky. The doctors didn't forbid it, but they warned there was a high risk of losing my health, even my life. I thought for a long time, and then I told David, "I can't give you children, and I don't want you to sacrifice that for me." He said it didn't matter, that we would find another way. But 2 months later he left. Not with a scream, not with betrayal. He simply said, "I love you, but I can't imagine life without children, and I don't want you to suffer because of it." We broke up. Without anger, with pain. I moved to Boston. He stayed in New York. For years past, we didn't contact each other. I heard that he was dating someone, then that they broke up, and that he moved to Portland. And then a week ago, my sister, Emily, invited me to her son, Lucas's, birthday party. He's 3 years old. She's raising him alone. I've always been proud of her, strong, independent, and caring. We met in their yard. It was warm. The kids were running around, laughing. I was swinging with Lucas on the swing when he suddenly said, "You look like the man in the photo in Mom's room." I stopped. "What man?" "The one holding me, in the big photo. Mom says he's my dad, but he doesn't live with us." My heart sank. "Can I take a look?" She nodded. She led me into the bedroom. On the wall was a big photo. Emily, smiling, holding a baby. And next to her, asterisk, asterisk him, asterisk, asterisk. David. The same sweater. The same look. The same location of the mole near her ear. I couldn't breathe. "When was this done?" I asked. "When Lucas was 2 weeks old," Emily said, entering the room. "Why do you ask? Is that David?" I said. "My David." She paused. She looked at me. "Yes," she said. "But you never said he was your fiance. And you never said he was the father of your son." "I didn't know," she said. "We met after you broke up. He said you were together, but never engaged. That you were a serious couple, but without a ring." "He lied," I said. "We were engaged. I wore the ring for 6 months." Emily looked at me. "Why didn't you ever talk about him?" "Because it hurt. Because I thought he lived on." Not with my sister. She came over and touched my shoulder. "I didn't know. I would never have started with him if I had. But you did. And now you have a son. By the man who ruined my life because he couldn't imagine a future without children. And now he has a son," she said quietly. "And he's happy." I didn't answer. I looked at the photo. At his hand holding the baby. At Emily's smile. At Lucas, now running downstairs, laughing like I laughed with David. And I don't know what to do now. Because this isn't just a betrayal. This is the family that no one let me know about. I couldn't calm down. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw this picture. David holding Lucas. Emily smiling. And I was out of the frame. It was as if nothing had happened. It was as if 6 years, the ring, the vows were just a dream. But the worst part was the thought. He knew. When he started dating my sister, he knew who she was. He'd seen her picture in my album. He'd heard me talk about her. He knew she was my only sister. And he did it anyway. I decided to call. Not because I wanted to forgive him, but because I needed the truth. At least one word of truth after 4 years of silence. It was the same number. I had dialed it at night, when Emily was already asleep and Lucas was supposed to be home with a nanny. The call went on for a long time. "Hello," came his voice. I recognized him immediately, even after everything. "It's Alexa," I said. Silence. "Alexa," he said. "I didn't expect it. But you knew it was possible, didn't you? I didn't know you would find out. You knew who Emily was. You saw her picture. You heard me talk about her." "Yes," he said. "I did." "And you still met her?" "We met by chance. At a conference. She works in the archives. I didn't know she was your sister until I saw the picture in her apartment. You were in it. And what did you do?" "I told her we were together. But I didn't tell her we were engaged." "Why?" "Because I didn't want her to think I hadn't let go of the past. That I wasn't ready for the new. But you made her a mother. You had a son." "I love her," he said. "And Lucas." "It wasn't a mistake. But it was a lie. And you knew that if I found out, everything would fall apart. I hoped you would never find out." "Why?" "Because you were ashamed? Or because you knew it was wrong?" "I knew it was difficult," he said. "But I didn't want to hurt you. I thought you were already moving on." "And you? Did you move on when she talked about me? When you talked about my illness? Or did you keep quiet and think, 'Don't let her find out'?" "I kept quiet because I didn't know how to say it," he said. "And every day I regretted it. And now I'm afraid she'll leave me when she finds out what I've been hiding. But you don't think about me?" "I think about it. Every day. I've seen your work online. I know you're doing well. And it was hard for me to watch because I knew I had destroyed what we had. But you built a new one on top of what was mine." "I didn't plan this," he said. "At some point, I just ended up where I wanted to be, with a woman who wanted a child. And I couldn't say no. And you said no to me," I said. "Not with a word, but with an action." He didn't answer. "I don't want to destroy your family," I said. "But I can't pretend it didn't happen. And I can't look at Lucas and not think that could have been my son. He's your neon," he said quietly. "But he's also a part of you. He has your eyes. Emily says he smiles like you." I fell silent. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," he said. "But I'm asking you not to take his mother away from him." "I'm not going to," I said. "But I can't be an aunt who doesn't know anything. Do you want me to tell her?" "No." "I have to do that." We fell silent. "Thank you for calling," he said at the end. "Even if this is the end." "I don't know what this is," I said. "But this isn't the beginning." I hung up. I waited 2 days before telling her. Not because I was afraid, but because I understood, if I opened my mouth, nothing would be the same again. We were sitting in her kitchen. Lucas was sleeping after dinner. The sun was shining through the window on the table. She was pouring tea. "You haven't talked about yourself in a long time," she said. "Everything about work, about houses, and about love, nothing." "Because there's nothing," I replied. "But you're upset. Ever since you were born." I took a deep breath. Because I can't pretend that everything is okay. Because when I look at Lucas, I don't just see a child. I see David. And I see myself. She fell silent. The cup hung in the air. "What do you mean?" "I mean, he wasn't just my ex. He was my fiance. We were together for 6 years. We were planning a wedding. And I was wearing his ring." She put down her cup. "Why didn't you say anything? And you said you were dating the man who ruined my life? That he was the one who left because he couldn't imagine a future without children? And that now he has a son with you?" "I didn't know you were engaged," she said. "He said you were together, but it ended amicably. That you both agreed it was for the best. But he didn't say I couldn't have children because of my illness? That he left because of it?" "No. He said you just grew apart. That you weren't right for each other anymore." "But that's a lie," I said. "And he knew who you were. He saw your pictures. He heard me talking about you. And he started dating you anyway." She stood up. She walked along the kitchen. "If it's true, then he cheated on me." "Not you. Him." "Yes," I said. "And now you have a choice." "Which one?" "Believe me. Or stay with him." knowing he kept it a secret. You want me to leave my son's father? I don't want anything, I said. But I can't be the aunt who comes to parties, laughs, plays with the child, and pretends not to see him smile, like my ex-fiance, who destroyed me and is now building a family on my pain. But Lucas is not guilty, she said.
No.
He is not guilty. And I love him. But I can't love him without knowing the truth. She sat down. Her eyes were full of tears. I love David. He's good to me. He was with me when I was sick. He didn't ask for anything in life. He just wanted a son. And me? I asked. I just wanted to live. And he left because it wasn't enough. We were silent. I don't know what to do, she said. If I tell him what you said, he'll say you're jealous, that you're trying to break us up. But you know me, I said. You know I wouldn't do this if I wasn't sure. She nodded.
Yes.
I know you. And that's why I trust you. Then why are you crying? Because I'm losing two people at once. You, because I don't know if we can be sisters after this. And him, because I don't know if I can live with someone who's lied for so long. A week later she called. I talked to him, she said. He didn't object. He said he was afraid that if he told the truth, I would give up on him, that he didn't want to lose what he had. So what now? He's packing. He's moving into a hotel. He says he'll give me time to think about it. And you? I don't know if I'll ever trust him again, even if I forgive him. Because trust isn't about one word. It's about not hiding the truth, even if it hurts. I didn't say, I told you so. I didn't say, he's not worthy, because I saw her suffering. And I knew this wasn't a victory. This was a tragedy. But the next week she wrote, Lucas is asking if you'll come to Thanksgiving. He wants you to swing with him again. I said, yes, I'll be there. And when I looked at the photo she sent, Lucas, smiling, holding a small guitar, I realized. I didn't lose my sister. I didn't lose my memory. But I lost the illusion that the past could simply be left behind. Now I have to live with the truth, even if it breaks my heart. I didn't expect him to write. Not after Emily said he'd moved. Not after she said he hadn't contacted her in 3 weeks. I thought he'd just disappear, just like he disappeared from my life 4 years ago. But one evening Emily called. Her voice was soft. He left a letter. In the mailbox. Not for me. For you. What? He asked me to deliver it if you decided to come over for Thanksgiving. I didn't read it, but I know he cried when he put it there. Why didn't he send it himself? Because he's afraid you'll throw it away without reading it. And he wants you to hear. I arrived 2 days before the holiday. Emily met me at the door. Silently, she handed me the envelope. It was white, worn. My name was handwritten, in the same handwriting I remember from the letters he wrote to me in college. I went to my room. I sat on my bed. I opened it. Alexa. I don't know where to begin. Because there are no words that can justify what I did. But there are words that can explain why I did it. When we broke up, I thought I had lost everything. Not because you couldn't have children, but because I lost you. I didn't want a child any more than I wanted you. But I couldn't imagine life without a family. And when you said you were letting me go, I believed it was the end. Then I met Emily. I didn't know who she was until I saw the picture. And in that moment I stopped. I could have told the truth. But I saw the way she looked at me, the way she laughed, the way she talked about the future. And I was scared. Because I knew that if I told her I was engaged to her sister, she would back down. Not because she was bad, but because it was too much. That it felt like a drama that no one wanted. And I made a choice. Not because I wanted to betray you, but because I wanted to live. I wanted to be happy. And I thought, if no one found out, maybe it would be a new life, without the past. When Emily got pregnant, I was terrified. Not because I didn't want a child, but because I knew now I could never tell the truth. Because if I told her, she would lose me, and I can't lose another one. I'm not making excuses. I know that I betrayed you, that I betrayed her, that I did something irreparable. But I want you to know, when I look at Lucas, I don't just see my son.
I see you.
His smile is yours. His peace is yours. And every time he laughs, I think, this is what we could have had. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking Emily to come back. But I'm asking one thing. Don't take Lucas Ann away. Because he's not guilty. And he deserves to have both of his families. I'm leaving Portland. I'm going to Canada. To work in the archives. I don't want to be close. I don't want to be a temptation. I don't want to be a shadow standing between you. And if you ever want to hear my version in my voice, I'm ready. But only if you say yes. Sincerely,
David.
I read the letter 3 times. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. But my heart ached as if I'd lost something a second time. An hour later, I went into the kitchen. Emily was making soup. Did you read it? She asked.
Yes.
And what do you think? That he's not making excuses. But he's trying to explain. And that's harder than lying. Do you forgive him?
No.
Not yet. But I understand that he's not angry. He's just broken. Like all of us. She nodded. I don't know if I can be with him. But I do know that I don't want Lucas to feel like he's a mistake.
He's not a mistake, I said.
He's a product of pain. Like so many of us. We were silent. Will you come to Thanksgiving? She asked. Yes, I said. I can't help but come. And as I sat that evening, looking at the swing in the garden where Lucas and I had played last time, I realized I can't erase the past, but I can decide what to do with what's left. Thanksgiving was a sunny, cool morning. I arrived earlier than I had planned, not because I was impatient, but because I wanted time before the other guests arrived. I wanted to get used to the fact that everything was different now. Emily met me on the stairs. She didn't hug me right away, but she looked me in the eye a long time, like when we were kids and knew that no words were needed between us. He's not coming, she said, but he called Lucas this morning. Just talked. Said he was thinking of him. I nodded. I didn't say anything, but I felt relieved. Lucas ran to me from the doorway. Auntie, you're here. I drew you a picture. He pulled me by the hand into his room. On the wall was a large chalk drawing. A house, 2 adults, and a child on a swing. The caption, Our family. That's you, he said, pointing to the woman with the scythe. And that's me. And that's Dad. I looked at Emily. She was standing in the doorway. Her eyes were shining. He doesn't know yet that Dad isn't with us, she said quietly. When are you going to tell me? When he asks why he's not coming. For now, he just knows Dad is far away. I sat down on the floor.
Lucas sat down next to me.
Do you love your dad? I asked.
Yes.
He plays the guitar. And he says I laugh like you. I couldn't look away. Do you want me to be your aunt? Yes. But I already am, he laughed. You're my Aunt Alexa. What if I said I knew your dad before you were born? He thought about it. Like my teacher? Did she know my mom when she was a kid? Yeah, I guess. Then that's good, he said. You know more about him. That means you can tell me stories. I looked at him. And in that moment I realized, children don't see lies like we do. They see love. And if they feel loved, they don't ask if it's right. We went downstairs. Emily was cooking turkey. I helped set the table.
We didn't talk about David. We didn't talk about the past.
But it was there in the silence, in the looks, in the way we treated each other with care. When we sat down to eat dinner, Lucas suddenly said, Why do we always say thank you? Because we're grateful, Emily said, for what we have. And I'm grateful for Aunt Alex, he said, because she laughs like me. I smiled through my tears. And I'm grateful for you, I said, because you reminded me that all is not lost. After dinner, we went out into the yard. It was cold, but Lucas wanted to play. I swung him around like I used to. He was laughing. And there was something familiar about that laughter. Not just David's. Not just Emily's. Something more. Something in common. Then he suddenly said, Auntie, will you ever have a child? I fell silent. I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe not. But that doesn't mean I can't love. Can I be your child? Well, not a real one. But if you want to? I hugged him, very tightly. You're already a part of me, I said. Later, after he fell asleep, I sat with Emily on the porch. Thank you for coming, she said. For not leaving. I couldn't, I said. Because you're my sister. And he's my blood. Even if it's hard. I don't know if I can forgive David, she said. But I know I don't want to lose you. You're not, I said. I'm here. We were silent. We looked at the stars. And in that moment, I realized I hadn't fixed the past. I hadn't healed the pain. But I had made a choice. I chose to be here.